Alright, these are the materials that we will be using to make the incubator. First we have the Coleman 150 quart marine cooler. This can be purchased at walmart.com and delivered to the store for about $70. So that's a pretty good deal. It's a great cooler to use because the inside is rectangular and does not have tapered edges, making measurements very easy. Next, we have some PVC fittings. We have 8 street elbows. Now these are about 50 cents a piece, and they will be used to connect the ends together. We have 4 end caps. These are about 35 cents a piece, and these will be the feet to the structure. We have 4 cross joints, which we purchased for $1.70 a piece, and also 8 T-joints, which we purchased for $1.08 a piece. Now, we have these joints within the 4 Sterlite tubs that will be used to house the eggs. These are a great fit for the cooler, and they're only about 97 cents a piece at Walmart. They're the 6-quart shoebox Sterlite containers. Also, we have the egg crate, which is what the containers will be sitting on. A sheet of egg crate is approximately $12 at Home Depot. This sheet has been cut to 14 3/4 inches by 37.5 inches so that it will fit within the cooler. We also used about 16 total feet of 3/4 inch PVC. We cut 8 lengths of 13 3/4 inches. We cut 4 lengths at 11 inches. And 10 pieces are 2 inches long. And these will be used to connect the joints together and to put the feet on the bottom. Now as for tools you need a pair of needle nose pliers to break the egg crate and get it to size. Those will cost you a couple bucks. 1 pair of quality PVC cutters that are about $13 at Home Depot, but they're well worth the price. 1 tape measure, which hopefully everybody watching this video will have. And 1 container of red hot blue glue, which is $5 at Home Depot. And this we are going to use to seal the PVC structure and fill it with water to maintain the temperature inside the incubator. Okay, now we will be cutting the PVC. First, take your tape measure, stick it at the end, and then make a mark at the desired length. For this one, we are going to be doing it at 11 inches. Make 1 mark and a second mark, and I like them to be tapered off to one side so I can tell exactly where the cut needs to be. And then, once you have the mark, take your PVC cutters and put them right at the tip. Let the blade sink in just enough to get it a good grip, and then level your PVC cutter so you get a nice straight cut. And then clamp and ratchet until the PVC is finished. Now you have an 11-inch section of PVC pipe that is cut exactly to length. Alright, this is the PVC structure that will be placed inside the cooler to keep the egg crate, which will be placed on top, off of the bottom and off of the heat cord to allow for proper ventilation. So you'll have the caps that will act as the feet. Then you'll have a cross joint and a street elbow, a T-joint and a street elbow. The T-joint goes on top, the cross joint goes in the middle, and then the cap is on the bottom. And all 4 of the joints are very similar to this one. And then in the center of each of the long members, after you have the 13 3/4 inch PVC that will go here, you have a center support, which is simply 2 T-joints that connect the top and bottom supports together. Then you have your next 13 3/4 inch piece, and then your next joint. And the same essentially holds true with the 11-inch members. Now you have the 11-inch members here that connect the joints on either side, and that is the width of the cooler. And that is how the joints in PVC will be arranged to make the PVC structure. Alright, this is our PVC structure that will go beneath the egg crate. It has 2 layers, the top layer and the bottom layer. The top layer is where the egg crate will rest, and the bottom layer is where the heat cable is wound. Now the heat cable is wound side to side so that it will allow airflow between each of the heat cables. The airflow is provided by 2 DC current fans that are 12-volt fans that will blow slightly downward into the heat cable. We've also filled the structure with water, and we've sealed it with red hot blue glue, which is a PVC cement, to make it watertight. And we've been able to hold about 3/4 of a gallon worth of water in there that will allow us to open the incubator and close it, and this will bring it back to temperature faster than the heat cable alone. Alright, this is the transformer for the DC fans. It is a 12-volt transformer. These can be picked up online. You have a positive and a negative terminal. Also in the center you have the ground on this particular model. All you'll really need is the positive and the negative to run to the DC fans, and we've used a telephone cable to run these connections. We've used the red and the yellow for positive and black and green for the negative. Alright, this is the substrate we will be using for the egg box. It is a vermiculite perlite mix. It is 10 cups of vermiculite to 5 cups perlite to 3 cups water. That is the recipe we used for this particular substrate. It is really good for maintaining humidity and heat within the egg box. And one thing you want to be very, very cautious of is make sure that you find vermiculite and perlite that do not have fertilizers in them, because they tend to be used for planting beds. And in fact, if you go to Home Depot, it's found in the home and garden section. Now, the very, very large bags tend not to have the fertilizers in them, but you want to ensure that they do not have fertilizers, because that will damage the eggs. Now, when you put these into the incubator, you have your container, and also to help maintain the humidity, just get a flat piece of glass, and we have a flat container here. You put the glass on top. Now, you can go to a glass shop and they will be more than happy to give you scrap. We got all our glass for free. We just had to cut it. But most glass shops will even go as far as to cut it for you, so no need to worry there. Okay, this is the assembly of the incubator. So first you want to put your PVC structure. You can run the cords all through the hole that you have for the drainage in the cooler. Then once you have that down with the heat cable and the fans, and also the heat probe for your thermostat, which you'll definitely want to have for your incubator, you then put the egg crate on top. That will give you a nice shelf to place the containers. Now you put the shoe boxes with the vermiculite perlite mix onto the egg crate. And then in one of the containers, we've drilled a small hole just large enough for the heat probe. Put the heat probe in the container. Since the thermostat that we are using is a proportional thermostat, it will maintain the temps all around and will not just make them fluctuate between a few degrees. That way we can have the exact temperature within each container, since each container will be the same. And we have actually measured the difference in temperature from the right and left side of this incubator, and they differ by 0.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's pretty dang close. Alright, in closing, this incubator, excluding the thermostat, was about $160. Now the thermostat that we decided to use for this is a Spider Robotics proportional thermostat. It is attached to a 50-watt Zoom-Edge heat cable. When the incubator is up to temperature, the thermostat is going at about 30%. So that's about how much energy is required to keep this up to temperature. Now we decided to go with the vermiculite perlite mix simply because we thought it would maintain the temperature inside the boxes very well. We wouldn't have to use a water pan. It simplified the design, and we could do a little bit of air exchange, and it would help keep the temps of the eggs very, very stable. Now, we saw a lot of these design features from other incubators that we liked, and we integrated a lot of different design features into this design. We thought this would be the most efficient for our needs. And also, you want to make sure you have this running at least a month before you have eggs, simply to let the red hot blue glue set, and also to get your humidity and temperatures fine-tuned. So, have fun.